I think that we have to just remember and point out that God gave us our brains so we can think for ourselves. And our culture has gotten so heavy ever since, you know, what's it called? Refined sugars have come out, you know, and it's just been great. And sugar is such a drug, and it's not good for your brain. And chocolate has sugar and caffeine in it, and the effects of it on your brain, on your body in general. Like Satan got Eve through the lust of the appetite. And when we start giving, we're pumping our children. And I am not preaching this saying my kids don't do this. I don't know how to get my kids out of it because it's everywhere. We are pumping our children full of sugar all the time to where they are already addicts before they even have a chance to choose not to be. And it affects their relationship with the Holy Spirit. Everything. We need the Holy Spirit to reflect God, to connect with Him, to have that relationship. Does that mean that there are people who are eating sugar and things that don't have a relationship with God? Of course not. But it still affects our brain and our ability to think and have self-control rather than have our appetites and lust choose the lusts, the sugar, those cravings and things. And we're hitting our kids so young, and it's a cultural thing. And Halloween, and you look at all the things of like someone that's going to come and kidnap your child. They like offer them a treat or candy. What are we doing at Halloween? We're offering them a treat or candy. Like, oh, let me pump you full of candy and the crap that you should stay away from to lure you in. There's such a common tie there, and it's part of Satan's attack on our mind.
And
And
candy
he does
sales
it with candy.
and candy sales are like all-time high at that time. I
Well, the
mean,
whole world's addicted to it.
Wow,
They put it in everything.
you brought up an interesting point that basically this is such a deep rabbit hole, but like literally this whole pumping of children with candy on a satanic holiday leads to human trafficking and the
oh wow.
and sex trafficking of children. What better time than when everyone lets their guard down? I mean that's when the most children, adopted children, foster children, animals go disappear. They disappear off the face of the planet. And what better way? I mean, like you said, a stranger can ask a kid for candy. Well, the kid knows, well, candy's good. And the people
Candy's
that,
given at this time.
yeah, and
Right.
the person that all the houses I went to, they seemed friendly and they gave me candy. Well, look how many tens of thousands of children go missing every year, especially during this time. It's fascinating. It's always the little things, and it's all a part of that web, that intricate plan of Satan.
Yeah, and Hansel and Gretel and their
Oh,
the witch's candy house. She's
yes.
fattening them up so she can cook them and eat them.
Wow.
These are the stories we tell our children, and then our children are like, "Oh, it's Hansel and Gretel. I know that story. It's so
I've
great."
never heard that story.
You haven't?
I've never heard this story.
It's
I'm
creepy.
sorry.
It's so
Just
creepy.
insane.
But is that a children's story
Yeah.
Yes,
that you actually read to kids?
Yeah.
yes. You know it, don't you? You were
No,
taught that story when you were
I've never heard this
but
before.
Zach, you do, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Hansel
Oh,
and Gretel.
okay.
I think
Dude.
maybe it's an American children's story. I don't know.
Well, I think it goes back to Europe. It's a
Europe, yeah.
really old story. But yeah, dude,
Yeah.
the witch, lures them in with candy, fattens them up.
She has a candy house.
Yeah, candy house, lures them, fattens them up. It looks like a friendly character, and then imprisons them, and then turns them into a treat for herself.
That is horrible.
It's
Yeah, and the
disgusting.
kids have like a chicken bone, and they keep holding out the chicken bone, and she fills the chicken bone to see if they're getting fatter or not. And they're because it's a chicken bone, they still feel bony, so they can live another day to be fattened up. Very weird stories. When you
Oh
think
my
through
god.
these stories, when you think through these stories with a sober mind, out of this spell that has been put on us, I put a spell on you. Once you get out of the spell and you start looking at the stuff, it's like, what the heck are we teaching ourselves? Like what? It's just insane.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zach, you can keep moving
No,
forward.
Keep
I
no,
just
going.
had to
Keep
think
absolutely.
going,
that.
Zach.
I'll
Oh
end it.
shoot.
I'll end it with what you read your children, or just read in general. We should really research the person writing. I mean, you read books like Wizard of Oz or Alice in Wonderland or Hansel and Gretel. A lot of these people are participating in the cult and are those that participate in mind control, like Walt Disney.